4, 3, 2, 1.
Versus PSG.LGD. Game 2.
Thank you, BSJ. First blood, Cinder, and we just caught it on camera. Beautifully done. We saw this kind of work in slow motion, but we caught it officially. First blood goes the way of PSG.LGD. This is game 2 of a best-of-3 between these two in the upper bracket for TI10 main stage. Cinder, what are your thoughts on these particular lineups and your favorite hero right now, Dawnbreaker?
I think LGD have a really high chance of winning this game because they got first blood.
Yeah.
Okay. All jokes aside, yeah, I love Dawnbreaker. I think the hero's super fun. I actually thought we were going to see it more at TI and given more priority than it has been, but hasn't exactly been shining, sitting on a measly 25% win rate in group stages, 2 and 6. So
very sad to see.
Only been banned 5 times. I think a lot of people even predicted it to be the most banned hero of the event and just wasn't. We're getting the replay here.
Yeah, that was basically a ravage by
Great Fissure
Lion there, but yeah, Zephyr ends up being first blooded there. But yeah, I agree with Lacaz. I was thinking the same thing, that typically when you have a Dawnbreaker, I mean, again, it's just the support here, but when you have a Dawnbreaker, you want some sort of initiator that has a lower cooldown that you can just set up consistently with your ult. They have RP, a very long cooldown. That's basically it. So the reason I bring that up is because Solar Guardian is kind of the reason you pick this hero, I feel, other than the laning stage, which she's very strong at.
Yeah, a simple breakdown of Dawnbreaker is you're really strong in the first 5 minutes, and then you have your ult, and that's pretty much it as a support. Like, your other spells are nice for a while, but later down the line, you just do very little against BKBs, against heroes just getting enough stats and getting more mobility. They eventually start trumping a lot of what you do. Your stun is super situational because you need time to wind it up, unlike something like a Lion that just connects it, as Carl is almost dying in mid here.
Yeah.
Nothing to say.
Well, let's talk about this lane then. Nothing to say, obviously playing the death part versus Doom. We're not seeing as much Doom mid in this patch. I want to say about 6 months ago, this was basically the standard. How about this matchup overall?
Really like DP in this matchup just because you're playing against a melee strength hero. Some of DP's best matchups are the ones where she can keep running down with Spirit Siphon in lane and just do a lot of damage, and should be very good against Carl, who still had a very good first couple of waves. He has 9 CS here, not too shabby at all. But yeah, I would imagine, especially, look at the lane positioning right now in mid. Like, this is what you want as DP. Don't sit here. Yep. All right, just keep denying. Every time the wave is here, Carl comes forward, you bet he's going to get siphoned, and you bet he's going to run him down a little bit here. Actually going for 2 points in Crypt Swarm, and Carl has to yield again, deny, and now nothing to say, we'll just, I think, try to keep the wave here again. So
yeah, I want to say, back when Devour gave health regen, this would have been much more manageable for Doom.
Yeah.
But now it's, like, obviously burst damage is what you mostly fear, but this damage from DP is just constant. The Spirit Siphons are seemingly always up. A lot of rune control, you can push the waves. There's almost, like, what's the reasoning for Doom mid? Is this just a pick? They're like, okay, didn't have to be originally the mid, but they just felt like it fit better this game for whatever reason.
Above all else, I think it's comfort, right? It's T1. This is their best strategy, is playing Medusa, Doom, and Magnus, right? They're basically like, here, we're down 0-1. Let's pick our best heroes that work together. And T1, I just think, when I think of this team, I think Doom and Medusa as their 2 best cores. They got both of them. It is pretty much on the greedy side, right? Like, playing Doom, Medusa, Magnus doesn't get much greedier than that. But at the same time, you look at LGD's lineup, which isn't necessarily the fastest either.
Yeah, we got the Spirit Siphon into the Crypt Swarm. I mean, honestly, pretty easy kill and pretty expected as well.
I feel like that's not the best voice line usage from Carl there. I don't feel like I don't feel like nothing to say lost there. But I do feel like Carl gambled, so he got 50% of his voice line right. So, all
right, if you agree with Cinder, make sure to cheer.
Yep.
We'll know if they agree in about 10
technically correct,
seconds.
which we both know is The best kind
Great.
of correct. Thank you, Shannon, for ruining
I definitely remember that quote.
Yep. We
Carl.
always finish each other's
Horses.
Yes. Thank you.
Carl looking for a high five. Don't think it's going to be reciprocated. There's the cheers for Cinder, and they love you. Look at that. They're even putting the gold thingies in there, whatever those are called.
I love you back.
And bot lane.
Hope some people are going to
We're
get
seeing
that one.
a repeat of Ame on that Terrorblade, and draft panel was kind of discussing this. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with them overall? You got to hold that, Carl. Don't hold that, Cinder, and let it go.
Not holding it?
Let it go.
Do I agree with the draft panel on?
The Terrorblade pick. Well, looks like Zephyr is going to get to the high ground thanks to that Celestial Hammer.
I think it's solid. Like, obviously, the last pick of the draft here was the Doom, which fares well against the Terrorblade, but they didn't have that information at the time. But Terrorblade does fare pretty well against Medusa, I would say, for the most part. GQ on Zephyr.
Pops the Mango, but remember, Zephyr, Dawnbreaker, super tanky at this stage of the game. Neither will die, so it'll end up in a stalemate.
In my experience playing Dawnbreaker as a support, Terrorblade is a rough matchup. He just overpowers you eventually. He's just too strong. You can't really go in without getting killed, especially when the Scotty comes out. As far as the Magnus and Lion matchups, I think it was maybe also just by scarcity of good carries that were left, right? I think they wanted the Morphling that T1 ended up last banning, so that was a good ban. And you just looked at, okay, we have a lineup with insane teamfight, we have good lanes, so we can afford to go for a greedy late game carry that needs a bit of time to build up, because we've got all the boxes checked, basically, and Terrorblade was the best strong late game carry left in the pool.
And all nothing to say, already using Exorcism in the mid lane and already doing half damage to the tower. They won't be able to finish in all likelihood, but does require a few rotations. In fact, we're going to get a Doom TP as well, but you can see Y on the sideline with the Echo Stomp. It's going to connect successfully. Not sure if LGD can actually pursue any further, but still, damage done.
Yeah, they got, what's that, 80% of that tower? Minute 5?
Yeah, that's the level of first Exorcism of the game. We're going to see the cookie come into fruition as well. Carl getting chased a bit, but you can see the Starbreaker forcing nothing to say out. But again, this is 2v3 in the mid lane. This is going to create so much space for LGD's cores to farm.
Yeah, we might end up in a situation again similar to the last one where Ahmed just gets completely free reign because nothing to save forces so much pressure onto mid. Seems to be an emerging pattern here. Both Dragon Knight and DP have a similar style of accomplishing this. And in last game they third-picked Dragon Knight. This game they actually second-picked DP very early in the draft. So seems to be a strategic approach for them to secure Ame a good game. Look at his denies, by the way. 21 denies on the Terrorblade, just really shutting down Magnus in lane. Not letting him get very much here for Cuckoo. Working on Helm of the Dominator. Not sure how much I like that this game I'm doing.
We got the cookie initiation again. Faith Beyond and company. Fissure connects, but the counter Starbreaker with the rotation from Whitemon. Looks like, at the very least, T1 get the trade they're looking for. 23 Savage, in fact, getting the credit for that one.
Yep, ended up getting blocked off a little bit there. And Zephyr will quickly go and die to the neutrals so he can get back to base faster.
And this is looking like close to a tower death. 7 minutes. Look how low that tower is right now. Nothing to say. Just having his way this game, which typically for the opposing team, not a good sign. But, I mean, looking at T1 side, obviously Medusa, extremely good late game carry. And then we've talked about this so many times, but once Doom does get online, you can just delete a core, which Ame would obviously be their first choice for.
This does feel like the kind of game where if it goes late and PSG.LGD don't manage to truly execute the Death Prophet, I think T1 have a very good shot if they're, if not favored, very late into the game. And T1 likes playing long games, as we know. They have, especially in previous tournaments, had some marathon games over an hour. And if it gets to that stage, if they can weather the storm, I think they have a really good shot here with Doom Medusa. So hopefully for them they get to build up. Obviously LGD's strategy is doing very well so far. They have a 1k lead against a Doom mid with level 3 Devour, so effectively against a lot of other strategies you could consider this maybe a 2k lead, almost taking mid tower as well. So definitely on the back foot right here, RT1. But I've doubted their Medusa games before, and they just... Oh no.
Nothing to say. Exorcism rotation to the top lane. Fissure will connect, but nothing to say. They're not going to see him. 23 Savage gets out. Oh, Faith Beyond very close to actually getting that cancel.
Fissure actually ended up
Yeah, that was unfortunate angle there.
He didn't get the blocking angle he was hoping for. Ended up blocking himself more than the Medusa, actually. And now, defense is actually coming in. Karl from the side. Gets the courier kill, so now they know he's there.
Yeah. And here comes from the sideline, Zephyr. There's the Doom onto Faith Beyond, trying to run away here. Looks like, at the very least, he will drop. Whitemon might be the sacrifice. Nothing to say. Exorcism has already dissipated. Wise in the vicinity. They will take him out in the end, 1-for-1. Now Spirit Siphon onto Karl. Echo Stomp as well. But I would assume that T1 is able to just walk away very safely here. But
so 1-for-1,
defense.
they get the core.
Yeah.
They get that kill. Who got the bounty for it? It was Karl himself, killing the courier as well as the shaker. So approaching top net worth now on this mid Doom. Midas is arriving as well. So the ramp up is really going to start now. Gets a nice little bottle refill from Whitemon as well.
There's a Midas for Karl.
The swiftness aura here. I thought he was going to take the centaur, but obviously the swiftness aura might help him a little bit with the farming speed in the jungle.
He really likes tomatoes, I'm sure. Delicious ketchup.
As does anyone sane, Sunspan TV.
Well, if they're cooked, maybe. Karl, he's going to be spotted here, but should be fun. He's going to get... That's not the hoof stomp. No. That one was not worth, I don't think. The tower taking heavy damage, but here's the rotation from T1. Even 23 Savages come to play. Trying to take out Jin Q. Looks like he'll survive.
Oh, meta.
On the other side, Ame with the meta. 23 Savage trying to TP out. Ain't going to happen. And this tower will fall one way or the other, but Cuckoo looks like he wants to defend and try to get the deny with the Centaur, but he's going to take heavy damage if he gets any further. It's just going to be given up.
And something we haven't talked about very much, if at all, I really like Elder Titan as a hero against Medusa. I think when you're playing against these static pushers, like let's say Medusa, Terrorblade, etc.,
like the siege tank type.
Yeah, you don't have very much mobility going your way, so it's so easy for Elder Titan to land these stomps every single time Medusa shows. They have nothing to get the Medusa out of there yet. It's not like no swap, force staff, haste, anything.
Oh. Not the best fissure, but it's going to result in a kill either way.
And it's going to probably lead to a tower.
Indeed. No, that's actually a really good point. But I mean, it's interesting that you've talked about this many times, how strong Elder Titan is right now. We've talked about the win rate, pick rate, and all that good stuff. And I think it's really cool that in past TIs, like the pick ban system was a lot different, right? You had more bans in the first phase, which means now, if there's a handful of heroes that teams are really prioritizing, some of them are going to get through, and it changes all the time. So the fact that we're actually seeing some of these heroes consistently get through is pretty cool, in my opinion.
For sure. And you can't really fault either of the teams for the other bans they're doing, right? There's just a lot of heroes that are really good, and there's a lot of...
You just can't ban everything, but there's the Doom onto Ame, and the Finger of Death. Very nicely played from T1. Beautiful positioning.
Oh, he died.
Several times over.
Yeah, I think they could have definitely killed him at least 2.5 times there.
Hey,
with what they did.
Finger charge is worth it, Cinderin.
Of course.
Got to stack those things up.
But maybe he didn't need to do them. Like, Terrorblade isn't exactly very tanky yet, but they get it done. They play it safe. They really want that big Ame kill. I think he didn't die last game, so probably feels really good to kill the Terrorblade at least once across 2 games. Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's an understatement, no doubt about it. But you see, top net worth goes to Karl on the Doom. No big surprise, despite the little bit of a rough start. We figured that he would bring his way back just because he is playing the Doombringer after all.
Yep, he's doing pretty well. Fake casting his Thunderclap.
That thing costs a lot of mana, by the way. He actually does cast it here.
A lot of
they
mana?
actually changed it.
What's a lot to you?
No, okay, it used to be like 150 mana. I just haven't eaten that creep. I stay away from tomatoes, like I said, so.
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
The potato, on the other hand.
No, and you definitely don't play micro heroes that would take it.
That's true.
So
that's true.
You go into the draft screen, you see is Pangolier banned? No, then I pick Pango. Is Pango banned? Yes, then I pick Centaur. So not exactly a lot of variety there.
Man, you just ruined my pubs for the next year, Cinder, and now everybody knows my strategy. Some stacks
they figured you out with Overworld
created here by T1, as it looks like that Centaur is going to be able to push the bottom tier 1 successfully. As Blink Dagger already online, which I guess it is position 3, so you're going to get more farm priority for Faith Beyond on this Earthshaker. So we'll see if this is going to end up being go time for them. I mean, they have the Yules on Nothing to Say. I would assume going for BKB. Oh, it looks like Boots of Travel first before the BKB stuff.
Yeah, it was one or the other. most likely, because he has both of them in quick buy. No, that's the standard build. Sometimes you will see a Kaya Sanj. Kaya Yasha we don't see on anyone, really.
Yeah, there's the jump in, blink reveal. It's going to be a kill on Whitemon.
If you were wondering what that flying thing was, DP has been changed in 730. It's not a hero we've seen a lot, but the silence is now a projectile. The cast point has been lowered, so it's quicker to cast than it was for the last couple of years, but it needs to travel. So if you're in very short, very close proximity, it's actually better than it was before.
That's one of those.
For every distance to target is worse.
That's one of those skills that that was the longest unchanged skill, basically, like since Dota, other than like the duration and balance wise, but in terms of how it works.
Conceptually, it's been the same forever. Yeah.
That is an OG right there for sure.
I have a bit piece of trivia for you.
Oh boy.
Can you name a hero that has the exact same spells that it's had for the entire history of the hero?
Sven?
No.
I mean, Warcry is slightly different, I guess. All right, I had to think about this one. Don't tell me. We're going to have a 4-man smoke here from LGD. Carl is going to break it. Faith Beyond jumps in. Solar Guardian is coming, but you can see the immediate doom into the Earth Splitter, though. Looks like they're going to be able to get the RP off as well. Faith Beyond drops to the deck. Finger of Death finishes off, nothing to say. And T1 showing up in spades here. Have a 3K net worth lead. Make it to as Jin Q. Shockwave into the Centaur. Mana Drain to follow. And another, whoa, okay, Echo Stomp. Delays the inevitable, it seems. And that is a quick 3 kills for T1. Now Y on the run. He is fine. Potentially some damage up to this tier 1 mid as well.
Very good stuff there from T1. Just so fast, right? They immediately see any sort of opening. They just pile on. They use all of their key ultimates here, but it's well worth it. So this Echo Slam doesn't clip the Doom, so immediately gets doomed. The Solar Guardian comes in and they just connect very quickly, and this RP is what seals the deal. They get nothing to say. No good way to cookie him. Very, very well done by T1.
Yep, good execution.
4K lead. They're in a great position right now.
Quick fingers from Carl, as always, as we're going to see another kill on the Snapfire here in the replay.
So where were we with Sven? Sven used to have Devotion Aura.
Okay.
Used to have an armor aura.
I don't remember that one. That's before my time.
It's a very old spell. There is a small handful of heroes still, I think. I want to say it's less than 5 that have the original spells still. Like entirely, basically only number tweaks, but still same concept.
We have a pick pull usage. Faith Beyond. Very nicely done as Roshan is being attentive despite being down 4K net worths, and they're in LGD. Looks like they're going to get it.
Yeah.
T1 not expecting this.
This is basically what happens when you pick these massive ultimate lineups against a team that can kill Roche, right? If you don't manage to get the Roche off it, they're going to go and take that objective. So very good awareness here from LGD that they can get away with this. Probably going to give it to Ame. So unfortunately for LGD, I guess you could say unfortunate. I don't know if it's unfortunate, but both of their Aegis carriers are transformation-based heroes to an extent, right? DP's ulti doesn't transfer through Aegis. I think there was a time when it did, I want to say.
I don't remember that.
But I'm pretty certain. Anyway,
but
they're going to give it to Terrorblade. And Terrorblade, in many ways, is probably one of the best transformation heroes to have it on because of how much he still does with his second life. He has Reflection, he has the Sunder, the Conjure images as well.
Late game, when you get Ags, he gets basically a few seconds of meta anyway as
Dead Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, super dead. Just see, that's a position 5.
Yep.
Still takes a while to kill. She's beefy.
Yep. Good strength gain, has the mech that he didn't even use, so could have taken a little bit longer to kill, but let's save it for a rainy day. Actually, might as well have used it. It would have probably been ready again, but relatively irrelevant.
23 Savage now pressuring this tier 1. It's going to force out the fort, as Faith Beyond does have Echo Slam back online.
They're a little bit cautious about pushing here because the PSG.LGD heroes went missing top. And from T1's perspective, they could have easily smoked or TP'd mid-tier 2 to set up a defense here. They didn't. Now finally Faith Beyond is going to go in and defend. He almost let the tower fall to creeps, as a matter of fact, before he got the confidence to go here. I guess at some point you're just like, okay, they must have left, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't have a ward seeing T1's T1 backing off, so he couldn't confidently go and cover that tower. but PSG.LGD understand how important it is. And even though it is in deny range, I reckon they will keep it standing here just for the vision and the potential TP control later. The glyph is on a very long cooldown, however. So still think 23 Savage will want to go there. But it can function effectively as a bait, right?
Yep.
When you're playing against a team and there's a mid-tier 1 tower and all these teams know...
This is potentially a huge kill. Oh! Double pumping on the Doom.
Doesn't want to doom him. He doesn't know where the backup is of the team. And of course there is the Aegis.
Yeah, that's true.
No Aegis there. That's an instant doom for sure, but... Yeah.
So ends up negating that smoke attempt from T1.
Yep.
Still 3 minutes to go for this Aegis timer. Who were we casting? Was it yesterday where they weren't afraid to go all in on that Aegis, on that high ground?
Yeah, that was IG against Spirit.
Yeah. See the meta popped, and tier 2 tower taking heavy damage as a result. They finally does T1 that mid-tier 1. T1 gets that mid-tier 1 Cinderin. Very easy to say.
Yep.
As Scotty looks to be next for Ame. And yeah, this is just going to be given up. Again, just respecting that Aegis. Pick pull on Whitemon now. Does each team have one?
Sometimes I wonder how they get their ideas. Like, who came up with that? Why
Probably
does it have to
Slacks.
squeal like that?
Probably Slacks.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he came up with Lycan Ags, so
Yeah, thanks. Slacks.
anything's possible. Which we're not actually seeing much past, I want to say, the first couple days of the group stage. Started to fall off a bit.
Basically the thanks Obama of Dota is thanks Lex, I think. Pretty great idea, Lex. Thanks for that.
Many more to come, I'm
I
sure.
feel like T1 might want to make a move again here. Like, they didn't use anything. They have their smoke ready. This is one of the biggest benefits to Dawnbreaker, what you're seeing in action right now, by the way. Similar to how Spectre will play as a carry, Dawnbreaker can just sit on the opposite side of the map and keep covering the dead lane, as I've heard it's called. And then whenever your team makes a move, you can always connect with Solar Guardian. And if you do get ganked comparatively to a Spectre, it's a relatively minor loss. So expect to see Zephyr sitting up here a lot of the time, just pushing out this lane. If he gets ganked by 3 heroes, it's okay, you know, whatever. But actually, do have the smoke coming in here. They want to try to see if they can get a jump on Faith Beyond, but he seems very aware. Oh,
Carl whips himself, trying to find Faith Beyond in the trees. Enchant Totem. Blink Dagger's not up from their 6 seconds, but looks like he has used successfully. In the meantime, they will find a pickup onto Jin Q instead.
Yeah, knows there's a ward there now, of course, being caught in the trees, but what a great play from Faith Beyond to stand there in that tree line and get out. The one escape he had, and he found it.
30 seconds on the Aegis, so we're going to see Solar Guardian with the whip. Doom. Cuckoo in the vicinity gets the shockwave, and this is going to be an easy kill for T1 again. Nothing to say, just ticks away there. So T1 starting to mount a very, very big lead. Of course, it is a Doom game, so have to keep that slightly in mind here.
Oh, Gabe likes them.
Yeah, what's
Gabe
the percentage?
71%.
That's quite a bit. Faith Beyond, Fissure. Not going to follow it up with anything here. Faith Beyond is working on the Aghanim Scepter for himself.
What do you think about the Sheesh voice line? Do you like it?
Who does that?
Whitemon, whenever T1 do literally anything.
I'll have to hear it. That's from Undying.
How have you not heard it?
I'm not going to lie, I blocked
him. It's like 20 times this game.
Cinder, I don't even listen to you. You think I listen to the voice line? The fact that you find that so funny is funny in and of itself, I think. Whitemon now. Ooh, he's actually working on Ags. Very cool. So Dawnbreaker Aghanim Scepter
awesome
gives you basically more control with your ult. You can pop it immediately, so it's only a 1 second lag time, or you can wait longer. It heals more, and it provides 60% evasion for any allies in the area.
Which is godly against Terrorblade, who generally doesn't buy MKB or doesn't want to.
But then again,
doesn't do much against DP. The Ghosts have True Strike, but against Terrorblade, it is very, very good.
This is going to be the first time I've seen the Dawnbreaker Ags in a pro game, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Some of the games we saw in the group stages were...
Oh my god, they actually found him. Okay. All right. That is going to be a kill. So PSG.LGD successfully take out Carl, who again is the top net worth right now.
Maybe a little bit of a false feeling of safety because of the ward that he did have.
Yep.
up there, but they knew it was there and they took a different angle than standing there in the tree line. Went a little bit too far, and it's a big pick for LGD. Unfortunately for them, Roshan can't respawn yet, so they won't be able to get that with that Doom kill, but it's still a very, very major gold swing when you kill such a rich hero. The kill itself is worth 1,200 gold in just relative difference.
And then a minute without him farming. And
yep. And then it quickly adds
using
up.
His Midas, his Devour, all that good stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it does feel like a mini Alchemist, but at the same time, you feel the power of him.
Yeah.
Alchemist like ramps up to a point where like, okay, now I understand once he's 6 slotted, but for Doom, I mean, just his ult in and of itself, just being able to put yourself in position to get his ult off has huge impact on the game. As we see a smoke now from T1, Ags is completed on Faith Beyond, so he's going to be jumping around on that Earthshaker. Doesn't really have much mana to speak of right now, though.
I'm actually surprised we do end up getting a draft with T1 in it that gets a last pick Doom. Like, this seems like such a good ban against this team in general in the second phase, but even in the third phase, LGD did not want to cover their bases against that one, and T1 say thank you very much, even willingly picking it into a hard lane matchup, and they're still making it work. GQ. He's out.
Looks like he's fine. Oh! Right at the last second, Whitemon. Yeah, they know the ward is there.
Very early Finger of Death. I'm actually not sure he got the stack there, but...
Well, he has 4. I believe he had 3, so...
Just to clarify, when I said he's out, I meant of the game.
Yeah, that's the old cast.
In case there was any sort of confusion there. Yep. Obviously very clearly going to die there.
And so many of those Tinker wards have been placed and dewarded in a game with no Tinker.
Yeah.
Just seeing like how much split pushing is occurring in this meta right now, regardless of what heroes are in the game. Now, let's do some item progressions here. So, Ame has the Scotty S and Y.
Close to BKB.
Yeah. Just about 1,000 away from finishing that. Looks like nothing to say. He has his Boots of Travel, BKB Yules, and Shivas, so this is, like you said, was very standard build overall.
Kind of surprising to see them smoke here, don't you think? Like, he's 800 gold away from BKB. Do they feel cornered enough that they have to make this move? I get that you have the 9-second BKB on DP, but getting the 1 on Terrorblade on top of it would be really good. I guess they need to cover the area because Roshan can respawn any second now. So maybe this is just by necessity. That's got to be it. If Roche couldn't be up, I don't think they do the smoke.
Good Savage, Fissure into the Enchant Totem initiation. Nothing to say it's about his BKB, but he just runs away now.
Oh, why did he BKB?
A little bit of a misstep here potentially from LGD. We'll see if T1 can take advantage. It's now 23 Savage. You can see his build. That's why Scotty just picked up that BKB.
This is really
one of
bad
the
news
few
from
mistakes
PSG.
from LGD we've seen.
BKB and Exorcism for what? Like, now you can just lose Roche in 30 seconds. You won't have one of your cores effectively.
Yeah, Carl wants to jump in. He does so. Gets fissured immediately into the angle side, but there's a Solar Guardian. Will he live? Finally, the right clicks will be enough to take him out, but the RP onto 3 heroes into the skewer. 23 Savage is going ham here, but finally the Sunder comes out from Ame as 23 Savage forced to TP out, but no, the BKB ends and he gets canceled. The right clicks are there along with nothing to say. With that Spirit Siphon, 23 Savage trying to hold his ground, but eventually these right clicks will be too much as Ame just continuing to pound upon him, but nothing to say is the one taking most of the damage from Medusa. One more right click will do it. He dies along with the double kill from 23 Savage. The flyback onto the Elder Titan. Ame getting extremely low. Finally dropped to the deck. And this is a complete disaster for both teams. Everybody's dying. Finally Zephyr TPing out will be successful. It feels like everybody died. 7 deaths for
My
PSG.LGD.
favorite kind of fight. Nobody won.
Goodness.
Everyone goes out a loser.
Oh.
Wait, who gained net worth there? Somebody must have gained something.
Well, it looks like LGD somehow did, despite
the big winner was
times.
Terrorblade with 1,100 net worth gained.
Very
overall.
good.
What an insane fight. After that 3-man RP, 3-man horn toss, there's no way LGD get that outcome. How in the world did they end up? It's obviously because Doom is dead. Like the instant stun from Shaker. Faith Beyond with the super clutch. If he doesn't stun Doom there, they're screwed, man. But they end up kind of salvaging it.
This cancel TP.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Look at the net worth right now. 7K lead for T1.
Yeah.
When the fight ends, it's the same.
Yeah, we'll just call that a wash.
I think, okay, pay attention to what happens now. So Y is going to walk in on his Elder Titan and start hitting the line. I think if he walks next to Medusa earlier than this, does that straight away so they get the natural order, I think Ame might have actually survived this fight, so could have been optimized a little bit here where we're kind of, you know, picking apart the minor details when it comes to this level of play, but wow, that was actually a crazy fight. Hey.
Oh, but we got the Titan Sliver now, Cinder, for Ame. The dream neutral drop.
Yep. Currently has the Paladin Sword. I would imagine he wants to swap. Does he want to keep Paladin Sword just for the lifesteal? He's currently not changing.
Oh, really?
Usually you do see Terrorblades gravitate toward Titan Sliver for a couple of reasons. First of all, your base damage is insane in Metamorphosis, so you get way more damage out of that item than most heroes do. Secondly, your hero is primarily susceptible to disables, so having the status resistance helps a lot. And it gives magic resistance on a hero that has a lot of armor. It's like incredible. This item was made for this hero, basically, but he's still opting for the Paladin Sword because he wants the lifesteal. I guess against Doom, he might feel like that's more valuable.
He's not queuing up a Satanic either, so maybe the fact that he's not going lifesteal right now.
And maybe he has to go MKB because of the Ags on Dawn, and then he will get
the fact that you have to do that because of position 4 bot Ags.
Yep.
Kind of crazy. But we did see the impact there. I think he didn't hold the Solar Guardian for that long. And we talked about how it's really just RP setting that up if you want to actually extend the duration.
It's okay with Lion on a single target, but it's not the greatest, I agree.
As we can see, smoke now from PSG.LGD. So despite that fight being a wash, you can see T1 continue to pull away just a bit in terms of net worth. And that's what happens with Doom and a or a mid-game to late-game Medusa. Just becomes really hard to handle. And Roche is being attempted. Let's see if LGD can actually contest here.
Well, they can keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Elder Titan might be the best hero in the entire game at contesting Roche.
He is the king of stalling together with Tinker.
It's already a half health, though.
Old Tinker,
this is the Aegis and Shard. Scouting it out with the Astral Spirit. Getting the massive damage to come, I'm sure. Echo Stop will miss, though.
Actually, are they just going to give it up here? It looks like PSG.LGD are not committing to the pick.
Yeah, they're showing Faith Beyond close to the tier 2. Yeah? I mean...
BKB?
Yeah. All right, they force out the BKB, but yeah, you're right. This is just completely left for T1 now. So Aegis, Shard. Shard will be consumed by Medusa. So that's going to be the single... Oh, Doom on to nothing to say. In the meantime, Carl, see if they can actually pick this up. Cuckoo does get off the Horn Toss, and a Finger of Death from Whitemon is enough. So, I mean, typically when you're going for Roche like that, the other team gets a pick up, but in this case, T1 gets both.
I have a fun fact for you that I just realized. The one game PSG.LGD have lost this tournament, they had DP.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, they actually had DP
surely
in that
they
game
picked
as
DP
well.
more than once.
And they first phased it here, so... Well, not saying they're going to lose this game, but it is looking very good for T1.
Absolutely.
They're sitting on Aegis 12k gold lead, an insane late game lineup, which, to be honest, LGD can match for a large portion, but at some point it just feels like when this Doom goes a little bit further and gets that refresher, he should relatively easily be able to get at least one of his Dooms onto Terrorblade. And then it's just a matter of protecting Medusa as she clicks people down one at a time. Level 25s are also somewhat on the horizon here. Medusa level 23.5. For comparison, Ame is level 20 on the Terrorblade, and that's usually just how it goes. A lot of the gold that Terrorblade gets has zero experience with it because of the nature of how he farms. Solar Guardian.
Earth Splitter was used. Solar Guardian actually canceled. No, sorry, that's the Aghanim Scepter. He actually kept it the entire time. Now Faith Beyond taking the brunt of the damage here as Cuckoo gets to skewer off. Why? With the Force Staff, here the Exorcism go off as well. Faith Beyond with a nice, beautiful finisher into the Echo Slam. They're going to blow up the Doom. Nothing to say, trying to maneuver himself around that fissure as Cuckoo pops a BKB into the skewer. TP attempt will be successful at getting out.
Zephyr's in trouble.
He is completely surrounded, gets off the Starbreaker, but dies shortly after. So LGD with a nice exchange here. They lose Faith Beyond.
What a godly cookie that was.
They get Doom.
Very, very nicely done, yeah. At the very least for T1, they do kill Shaker and they don't lose their Aegis. And, you know, a lot of spells are committed that time around for LGD to find these 2 kills. They use Echo Slam, they use Exorcism. Even the Snapfire ult was used there. Not the biggest deal in this game comparatively, but... might mean that T1 are ready for their own move in 30 seconds. They're actually moving out relatively aggressively with 3 heroes here. With those spells on cooldown and an Aegis on Medusa, they feel confident. Like you said, he got the shard, so...
Yep.
Which single target spells does he even...
Sunder!
Is that the only one?
Spirit Siphon, Sunder.
Spirit Siphon. Spirit Siphon is very, very good.
That's
true. That is amazing against that.
Any... does it work on items? I guess not. Like a Yules or something like that?
I don't think so. The
With
wording says spell.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I don't know that. Very disappointing, I know.
It's okay.
I'll be better.
He actually has Ags queued up after the Silver Edge for 23 Savage, so that'll end up synergizing with the Shard eventually, turn people to stone. But on the other side, Ame did complete the MKB like you talked about. I would assume... Okay, he actually is going for Daedalus next, so just raw damage for the most part. Still no lifesteal, which is why he's still continuing to keep that neutral item.
Yeah.
It's not often you see no lifesteal as an actual item purchase on a
I'm
TV
being told
display.
by chat that it does work on items, so there's a 50% chance that it works on items, probably.
Oh boy.
We're going to assume that chat is always right. Good job. So we'll say it does work on items.
Good to know. I'll believe it when I see it, though. Uh-oh. 23 Savage and company. Looking to just take some towers here. They'll get the tier 2, it looks like. Well, at the very least, they're poking. I mean, at this stage of the game, this is kind of a high ground defense game for PSG.LGD, especially against an Aegis. And you can't ask for a much better team to defend high ground with literally Elder Titan +4 is all you really need.
Yeah.
It feels like.
How many Force Staffs do they have? They have 0 Force Staffs on T1. That means effectively Fissure will be a complete block off that they can't really counter. The only hero that really gets out of it is Magnus with the Skewer and the Dawnbreaker with Celestial Hammer. The other heroes will be stuck in a really awkward position.
By the way,
unfortunately, their siege hero is ranged, so it's hard to Fissure block Medusa if she's hitting from the low ground.
It's really hard to kill her, but 23 Savage did actually complete the Ags and does not have buyback now. So killing her once this Aegis is taken out of the picture.
Very true. It's expiring in 5 seconds.
A bit risky, but T1 definitely with the advantage now.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And early Roche is obviously now in 3 minutes with the Aegis just expiring. So plenty of time for both teams to build up further. I think LGD would like to wait with fighting until they have the Terrorblade Daedalus as well, even though he has MKB Chrysalis, which is powerful. He has, based on 23 Savage's item build, I actually think he will overpower the Medusa clearly when he gets the Daedalus, just because the raw damage and tankiness that 23 Savage has with this build doesn't really match up. If this Aghanims was, say... Well, what could have been? He could have had a Daedalus himself at least, which he isn't opting for. He's going for the silver, like we talked about.
Obviously doesn't want to go Butterfly because MKB exists already.
So what would he get? I mean, Rapier would be the obvious choice, right? Since it's a Medusa, at that point you're probably stronger than the Terrorblade with the Rapier plus Daedalus. But for now, a fully decked out Ame will be terrifying. And also, we're talking a lot about the carry versus carry matchup, but we should be focusing quite a lot on the Magnus and Doom as well for T1. They're really setting up the fights for them, and if any of these get caught by a Fissure, Terrorblade is going to kill them in like 4 hits once these items are done. So, okay, maybe not the Doom. That's a bit of a stretch. But Magnus is not particularly tanky with this build. He's sitting on 19 armor, and that's basically it. None of his items really make him tanky at all.
Still a 77% win probability for T1.
Yeah, still looking great. It's been flatlining, though.
It has.
For a while.
Y is working on Aghanim Scepter for himself, so that's going to give him basically the BKB once the Astral Spirit returns. What do you think of the Shard for that hero, where you take places with your Spirit?
Oh, Faith Beyond.
Zephyr. Oh, they force out the BKB. Faith Beyond. Looks like he's going to get Doom mid-jump, though. Cancel his own TP Attempting to get out. The nice slow coming out as well. And he might actually be fine, but he doesn't have... I guess he does have a TP.
A little bit of indecisiveness there from Carl. I think he wasn't sure whether he really wanted to use this Doom, so then he doesn't have it on anyone else, but he ends up throwing it, and then refreshes for the Shiva's vision, but doesn't find Shaker. We'll still have another Doom if the fight is to break out, but this is probably going to slow down T1 a little bit. Ideally, they want to wait for Carl to have at least BKB ready, maybe BKB and Refresher, and in that case, well, then you're fighting into a maxed out Terrorblade here, pretty much. Can still swap out Sanju and Yasha theoretically, as well as the Power Treads, but I think he wants to keep the SNY for as long as possible. We'll probably see him get like Moon Shard before he replaces that for another item.
Yeah.
So not very much growth left here for Amit for a bit. Main things he wants actually are from Roshan at this point, and maybe a better neutral item. Skewer.
Cuckoo. Oh, that's a really long skewer. That talent is insane. Finger of Death. And nothing to say.
Kill.
Another death to his name. So despite getting off to, I want to say, a really good start, kind of tapered off a bit on this DP. Looks like he's going for Lincoln's next, so the anti-Doom builds are coming. But
still needs to worry about some other cancels, though. Obviously, Mana Drain, Blink Hex.
Yep.
Cuckoo trying his luck.
Good attempt there. 60 seconds for nothing to say to come back. Does have buyback, though, and still with his ult intact. There's 23 Savage now poking.
There is an exposed fissure angle when 23 Savage is standing on the high ground there to get off the attacks. Obviously, they had no wave, so they couldn't get vision any other way. Needs to be a little bit careful about the Shaker block on that Medusa in case.
Third Roche is up. So, Echo Slam. This is for a Dawnbreaker. Fissure to follow. He's actually going to heal himself and be fine. Carl has come in with that Doom as well. This time they will find the kill. The pump fakes galore. As Faith Beyond drops 65 seconds, no Earthshaker, no buyback. And more importantly, because T1 probably doesn't know he doesn't have buyback, no Echo Slam anyway.
Yep.
Into the Roche pit they go.
Going to be very confident with this. They will have their second Doom as well in just 15 seconds, so Carl could connect over there, but I don't even think he's going to need to. I think PSG.LGD are very careful with even approaching Roshan without their Shaker. Yeah. They're going to scout it out with the Spirit. It's going to stomp here.
This is the Aghanim
nice
Scepter,
from Roche. Is going to set that up nicely.
Yeah.
But
looks like they'll get it for free.
They will.
Cinderin, you know what we're going to talk about here. There's an Ags on the floor.
Oh, I thought you were going to say tier 5 items.
Doom picks it up, so longer Doom duration, and it breaks.
Yep.
Which the break, I mean, against Elder, I mean, not going to want to Doom Elder Titan, I guess, but Natural Order just doesn't work anymore. That's kind of a big deal, I think. Other than that, break doesn't really do anything, does it? It's just for the 6-second extra duration. Unless I'm missing something. Cuckoo. Oh, he gets the ARP. Oh, no, he hard tossed after! The wrong direction. Oh, boy.
We need wards.
Yeah, that's quite not my fault. We don't have wards in their tier 4 tower. Yeah, a little bit of miss. I mean, it's just the wrong angle, really. But now RP's down. Can PSG.LGD do anything about this? Or will this just be like X amount of seconds off of the Aegis?
I think they want to go. This is big. It's the biggest, one of the biggest spells that has been problematic for them has been this RP. If they get the jump and they pop their BKBs, this could be the makings of a big comeback for them. They are still fighting at a massive disadvantage here into Aegis, into 2 Dooms. Actually, only 1 Doom.
Oh, but the Refresher just picked up by Cuckoo. They don't know this.
They don't know.
So he has another RP to work with. Very sneaky indeed.
This is very spicy, Carl.
4 smoke now for LGD. Fissure into the initiation, but there's a Solar Guardian from afar. Can he get off the BKB in time? He does. He will live as a result. Meanwhile, we'll see a big impale on the backside. Nothing to say. Pops his BKB and runs, or Exorcism's already used, which means T1 just have to wait this out. T1 are looking very good this game. Primed and ready to potentially force this to a game 3. But can LGD come back? I mean, normally I'd be like, it's going to be a tough road for X team to come back from this, but it's LGD, and they've looked virtually unstoppable this entire tournament.
They've had games with a similar look to this that they still managed to clutch out in the end on high ground. And I'm still gonna keep focusing on the fact that T1 have very limited ways of repositioning a couple of their heroes. So once Fissures come in, and the Elder Titan Stomp as well, they don't really have a good way of handling that. And keep in mind, Y as well has the Force Staff. We usually see the defensive use, but the offensive use in a game like this is really powerful. If you get the Echo Stomp or a Fissure, you can push people into a very bad position inside the Radiant base here, but for now, obviously 23 Savage very safe with the Aegis.
Dire's top tower.
Indeed, has the cheese in his back pocket
They're
as
looking
well.
to trade top.
Radiant's middle tower has
That's
fallen.
true. Damage is definitely being done right now, but the tier 3 is still relatively healthy. And you can just
Dawnbreaker?
put Dawnbreaker there with the Solar Guardian if he wants to come in. He's going to take some damage, but will walk away safely. Was Echo Slam just used?
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
He used it in the last fight when they
Still on
jumped
cooldown
the-
for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the beauty. You talked about this earlier. That's the beauty of having somebody like Dawnbreaker. You can TP up there, no problem, and just use your ult to get back in the fight if you need to.
Yeah, it's doing T1 a lot of good right now, having a global hero. That's for sure.
Oh, the jump in again. Nothing to say against Doom, but the Fissure blocks them off a bit. Cuckoo expends an RP. And nothing to say, just completely surrounded and will be brought down here. They do lose Lion, though, so 1 for 1.
Yo, Savage is in the middle of nowhere here. Could be good, could be bad.
And right clicks from 23 Savage coming. He's doing a lot of damage, but the Fissure continues to block him off.
Could be nothing.
Great tool against the siege tank. That is Medusa. And we'll see if they can try to take advantage of this Aegis. It doesn't look like another minute to go. They did get the mid racks though, and I think if you're T1, you'll be happy with at the very least that. Maybe they try to poke here, but again, time's running out.
Yeah, the LGD have effectively delayed the second lane of racks by a decent amount of time. Horn toss.
Yeah, horn toss, but the BKB forced.
Radiant's courier.
Courier taken out as well. That was most of a refresher, by the way, for Jin Q. Not sure if he has the recipe in his backpack, as we can see the jump in now. You see the Aghanim Scepter go to work. That spell
Radiant
immunity,
structures are fortified.
and away he goes. Aegis 30 seconds. Satanic now online for Ame.
Yeah, 23 Savage needs to be careful not to lose this Aegis when he has low mana. He needs to reset position, make sure he gets all his mana back, or this is over. I mean, they might not want to push anyway, regardless, now that it's gone. So LGD effectively lose mid-melee barracks, which happened about a minute and a half ago, and that's it for this Aegis. So still, T1 are building more and more and more of an advantage. Of course, Doom, I don't even know what he goes now. He's queued up a heart. I guess he'll replace Midas for heart now. How greedy are you going to be? How long do you want to keep
Replace
the Midas
Boots.
for?
Keep the Midas. Please. Please.
Can tell you're a Pango player.
Yeah, I definitely buy Midas on Pango.
Don't need boots that much.
Oh, that's true. That's more accurate for him, at least. But yeah, I mean, is there any consideration to the fact that T1 are running out of slots to upgrade? Is that a silver lining for LGD?
I suppose to an extent. It is still hard to end this game, I think, for T1. That's like the silver
Radiant's
lining. Your
top
team is
tower is
insane on
under
high
attack.
ground, and anything can happen in super late game Dota. So a lot of the time it comes down to which key core just gets caught by something. Like when the net worths are this high and the buybacks are that expensive and the damage is this crazy.
I mean, look at this, Cinderin. Level 25 position 4 Dawnbreaker. Ame, position 1, still 24.
Yeah.
That is...
He's not finding a lot of experience around on the map, that's for sure. It's just mainly the illusions pushing out lanes, so... And it's a good point. The 25 on Ame is actually very important. Those talents are insane.
Yeah.
In the late game, you either get the 35 seconds more frequent Sunder
Which would
or
you go for in this
20
game?
meta duration. I don't know, actually. Getting the Sunder down to a 6-second cooldown sounds pretty crazy, but you're still playing against so many lockdowns, right? So you probably take the meta duration. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough call. If you get Doom, then the decision might not even matter, right?
Right.
23 Savage has a refresher for himself now, so double BKB, double Stone Gaze, double Silver Edge.
Dire's
Wow.
courier has been
Yep,
killed.
strong stuff, I know. Oh, Zephyr is going to be spotted out. That's the Demon Zeal popped. They're going to be able to take out Dawnbreaker in quick succession here. Carl looking to potentially go in. Pops the BKB. Nothing to say, does the same. Doom actually applied to Ame, but he's already in meta form. I think they'd be fine to fight here.
Carl has used everything.
T1, there's a huge RP from Cuckoo though, and the right click from 23 Savage just decimating LGD. Earthshaker buys back into the game, second RP onto Ame. He's stuck in place, but there is the lifesteal. And look at how much damage he actually does. He is getting kited from afar though, as 23 Savage with that split shot modifier going to work on LGD overall. Can they stun lock Ame enough? Zephyr getting right click down from far. The Sunder Talon was definitely taken. As you see, Ame use it multiple times. Faith Beyond's finally come back to the fight. Trying to kite Medusa as much as possible. Ame, all he can do is try to lifesteal. It's not going to happen though. Double kill for 23 Savage. Finally will go down. Does have buyback, and Ame's going to expend his. So Jin Q working on Carl right now, burning down to that Infernal Blade. Fissure, nicely done. Blocks off Carl completely. Faith Beyond on the wrong side though. Why?
Carl has no buyback.
Still has that magic immunity. 23 Savage buys back in the game. Looks like they want to try to finish this one way or the other, Cinderin. And there, Carl jumps in on nothing to say with the finger of death. Down he goes, double kill for him. Buyback again from LGD. 5 versus 5. Assuming nobody has buyback at this point. Good, Gaben. Can they continue to fight here, or do they want to back?
Oh, the Fissure
on the wrong side.
Oh.
Provides enough space for 23 Savage to get away safely. This game is insane. 27k net worth lead, and this feels so even.
Who even has buyback anymore?
Does anybody? That's the question.
No. The only players who didn't use it are... They all did?
That is a 10 kill, 10 buy. The first of TI-10 and maybe ever, actually. That is insane, man. Oh. Sheepstick now. Oh, sorry, I can't hype up everything. Sheepstick picked up by Doom. And that's a double Sheepstick, double everything. And he is
This is going to be the item
out
now of this game, I think. Whitemon with the Aeon Disc. I think we might see more players pick this up in this game if it goes longer. When you're without buybacks, that is essentially your second life. Oh,
any
boy.
kill now is huge.
Yes.
No buyback.
Literally any kill.
PSG.LGD playing it safe. I just can't get over the fact how even that fight was. That was 30k net worth deficit. How is that possible?
I think it really showcased how much stronger Ame is than 23 Savage in a raw fist fight. Like, it took him so long for the Medusa to finally kill a TV.
Oh, Roshan.
Well.
Number 4 has the Aegis, Cheese, Ags, and Refresher Shard this time, which for T1 is very nice. Echo Stomp being shown here. LGD.
This is a really big moment
Looks
for T1.
like they're coming to potentially contest. It's already at half health, though. There's the Mortimer's Kisses from afar. That's the talent. Look at how much damage that is actually doing. Carl has to be careful. There's the Solar Guardian. Has to be used to try to defend Roche. Earth Splitter's there as well. Looks like they'll finally get Roche eventually. He's nothing to say. To pop his Exos and the jump is right into the Echo Slam. Roshan is taken out. Who the hell got the Aegis? That is the first step for Dawnbreaker. Refresher on the ground, for God's sake. Faith Beyond's going to take a tumble with a 1-for-1. Aegis claimed by 23 Savage. LGD need to reset. Cuckoo not able to get the right horn toss. Was on an illusion. So T1 getting the better of that, I do believe. They got the Aegis. I can't keep track of these items. 52 minutes in the game.
How is that a 1-for-1?
Oh. That Echo Slam was disgusting.
That was such an ugly setup too, right? Like you shoot the, you start the Mortimer Kisses, which he's level 25, so he has the strong talent, and they use it to chain with stuns, Fissure into Enchant Totem into Echo, so that Jinkyu did insane amounts of damage in that. He did the most damage out of anyone.
Whitemon was just gifted an Ags, by the way, so you're going to get the AoE Finger of Death. He has 7 charges of Finger.
Who got all the stuff from Roche?
Well, Aegis from
Aegis
Medusa,
on Medusa.
obviously. There's the cheese.
They don't have the cheese. Where's the... What else was on it?
Ags was on it, and Refresher Shard. I don't know who got that.
Where's the shard?
You can keep track as I watch buildings die. 50 seconds of no Faith Beyond, 50 seconds of no Dawnbreaker. Of course, a little bit more concerning for PSG.LGD, considering 23 Savage and company are in their base. So they're gonna get their second lane of rack. They can't go for megas. The tier 2 bot still remains after all this time. That is actually shocking. In fact, just gonna go for the tier 4s for now. 23 Savage approaching level 30. Gonna be a pretty massive power spike for him. Yeah, Carl as well, that is true. So they get one tier 4. Trying to take out these illusions. The Echo Stomp, again, just the delays constantly. We barely talked about it, but the fact that Lion can just destroy these illusions obviously hinders Ame's ability to push out these lanes. And the fact that he has Shard, actually. It's the triple mana drain. Tier 4, all right. Faith Beyond is back, and remember, Dawnbreaker can just come in. There's Cuckoo. Oh, he kind of stutter steps there. Finally gets off the skewer, back into the fray. You can see the Earth Splitter from afar. Solar Guardian coming in as well. Can they kill Ame? Yes, they can! 120 seconds of no Terrorblade. PSG.LGD might be putting on the brink here of Game 3 if they're able to not hold this off. The Ancient is exposed as 23 Savage continuing to just pound upon it, forcing them back into their fountain, and this looks like T1 will be forcing the Game 3. Cinder and Faith Beyond gets off the Echo Slam though, wide, jumps in, has a lot of damage to work with, but nothing to say. He doesn't have enough damage to kill off 23 Savage, but okay. Satanic keeping him alive. Carl jumps in with the hoof stomp. He's continuing to try to hit this Ancient. 23 Savage. Echo Stomp again, just keeping him at bay. Yule Scepter now. Can they kite him enough? Refresher Shard used by Cuckoo. Into the RP. Into the Ancient kill. T1 force Game 3. Oh!
What a sick game.
Oh my God.
That was hype. I love that game. Oh. Showcasing all of the strengths of both teams, honestly. I think T1 playing some of their absolute best heroes and a lot of standout performances. How many good catches do we see from Cuckoo, among a couple of interesting